This is hard copy for Wednesday, June 2nd, 1993.
Hello and welcome. I'm Barry Nolan.
And I'm Terry Murphy. Good evening. Claudia Rae found fame in Las Vegas when she changed her name to Calamity Jayne, started singing, and opened up her own nightclub. It should have been a success story until she fell in with the wrong man. And what began as a night of sex turned into a stretch in prison. Doug Bruckner has the story.
I realized that, you know, the power of love is very intense too. And it's a drug just like power is, just like everything else that I keep getting in trouble with that are drugs, quote unquote.
She presented the aura of a scatterbrained individual who didn't and wouldn't ever be confided in by someone who was trafficking in narcotics. Obviously, later on, we discovered that she'd done a very good acting job.
And I just sat there and started to think, he's a guitar man, he's a guitar man.
She was a sexy country singer with a style no one had ever heard or seen before.
He grabbed me by my ankles, threw me down on all fours.
Calamity Jayne came out of nowhere to make a splash as a sex-starved cowgirl on VH1, a Las Vegas regular headlining at top showrooms, a cult star with her own nightclub, complete with unmentionables hanging from the chandelier.
My image was just not the little sugar-sweet image. Well, I'm sugar-sweet, just like I am now, but this isn't the image that they want to see, you know, on a lounge stage.
Then Claudia Calamity Jayne Rae got herself into a heap of trouble when she hooked up with a rich old grandpa named Ernie. He wound up in prison, and now Jayne is following in the biggest calamity of her life.
By the time I found out that Ernest was involved in drugs seriously, he had already been so good to me that I had this incredible loyalty to him.
Calamity Jayne started out 43 years ago as Claudia Rae, a flower child from Del Mar, California. By the time she was 21, she already had 2 ex-husbands and was banging tambourines in their band.
I was so spaced out, I couldn't find my clothes for the gig that we were performing at, so they had to push guys' cowboy boots on me. I had cut-off jeans on, and the sun was setting. They put a cowboy hat on my head so I could, you know, so the sun wasn't in my eyes. The public called me Calamity after that, and that's how I became to be what I am right now.
Some years later, Claudia and her ex-husbands moved to Las Vegas. She says it was for the money. She started a new band in which she was the star, Calamity Jayne and the Cowpunks. Big-time agents in Nashville caught wind of her act and tried to mold her into a typical star, but it didn't take.
Unfortunately, this world, you know, is completely put in pigeonholes. You know, everything is categorized, and I'm so against that. You know, I don't think you should be black or white, or you have to be this or you have to be that. You know, I'm eclectic. I'm everything. I'm me. There's, you know, I'm a culmination of every experience I've had, both bad and good, you know. And that's why I have a problem getting a record deal.
It seems Calamity Jayne was way too sexy for the Nashville network and way too cute for Playboy After Dark. What she needed was the dough to do her own thing, make her own videos, showcase her own music. And that's when she met up with Carl Ernie Whittenberg. Ernie was a Texas billionaire who happened to make his fortune smuggling cocaine.
He flew in well over 10,000 kilograms of cocaine. That's over 11 tons of cocaine. He flew, in his own words, more cocaine into this country than any man alive.
Calamity says she met old Ernie while she was avoiding an old boyfriend.
He was providing a place for me to hide out from one of my ex-musicians, and I needed refuge, and he was one of the very few people that ever approached me, offered me, you know, a place of solace, and never sexually asked for any favors, never asked for money, never asked for anything.
And old Ernie was even nicer than that. He gave Calamity plenty of money, enough to buy a nightclub. Yep, Calamity Jayne's Nashville, Nevada saloon. How could she repay him? Calamity Jayne did it the only way she knew how, with a night of love. Oh, all right, a night of sex.
I learned never to do that again. Don't use your sexual powers to, you know, as favors to someone else, because they get addicted to it, and that's what happened. It was a one-time experience, And that one time blew his mind, and he ended up pursuing me for the next 2 years.
Calamity says old Ernie never recovered from that wild night of passion. She says he chased her and kept pouring money into her club. The more she didn't ask, the more he helped out.
3 mysterious checks that were written and deposited into the account. The checks were under different people's names. Well, you know, when I have money, I spend it. It's like I think it's a gift from the universe.
But the federal prosecutor thought something very fishy was going on. Jay Angelo believed old Ernie was using the nightclub to launder drug money.
There were many, many, many transactions. And what that did, in essence, was gave her the benefit of the money, but it concealed to a very large degree, and something that took a long time to discover, the true source of the money, that being Carl Ernest Wittenberg.
The case turned into the largest drug prosecution in Nevada history. For 2 years, federal prosecutors brought evidence before grand juries. Calamity Jayne's nightclub was closed. The music equipment was confiscated. She was not allowed to perform. She had to find a new job.
Looks like you're going to be loaded with lots of ladies to keep you company. You think you can handle it? I'm a phone sex operator. I don't want to talk on a phone line. I want to do things, you know, but that was the only thing I could do to support myself.
Eventually, 20 people were indicted in the drug ring. Old Ernie, the kingpin, was convicted and sentenced to life without parole. Calamity found herself facing 18 years in prison. And while she was awaiting her trial, she managed to tick off prosecutors by visiting old Ernie in prison. Calamity Jayne doesn't sing anymore. She's even hanging up the phone sex business. In a week or so, she'll be off to spend 2 years in federal prison in Pleasanton, California. She asked to serve her time there so she can get a master's degree from the Institute for the Advanced Study of Human Sexuality.